Welcome to the Mankind Cave. Welcome to Kayfabe Connection, your home for facts, rumors, knowledge, trivia, and everything you know or hope to know about pro wrestling. If you have not done so already, hit the subscribe button down here. It's right there. Click it. Because you're not going to get Kevin's wrestling podcast where we predict and review and your reaction and No. We're giving you companies across the board, not just one company, but all companies across the board, all continents and countries, local shows, indie shows. We're covering all topics here, and hell, we might even branch off of wrestling. We talk about video games, shoes, all kind of like video games. Look, I'm trying to get an Arcade 1-Up deal in the Mankind Cave. Look at that. Look at that. Shout out to Arcade 1-Up. And most of all, shout out to you. Thank you for visiting our page. Make sure you subscribe to Kayfabe Connection. Go ahead and click it right here.
Hey, this is Adam, a.k.a. Edge, a.k.a. the Rated R Superstar, a.k.a. Dwight from Haven, a.k.a. What was my name in Bending the Rules? I can't remember, but you're listening to the Kayfabe Connection.
This is Matt Jackson of the Young Bucks, and you're listening to the Kayfabe Connection, your home for facts, rumors, knowledge, trivia, and everything you know or hope to know about pro wrestling.
It's just too sweet.
Welcome to Kayfabe Connection. Welcome to Thank You for Watching. This is going to be our post pay-per-view pod slash discussion, we'll say. We're going to throw these in the playlist here for all of the AEW pay-per-views or specials that they put. I know they do like Fight for the Fallen and stuff, so expect that to be in the playlist. But this is Thanks for Watching, because that's what you see at the end of the pay-per-view, right? They got the 90s jazz that plays, and then you just let it ride out for like 15 minutes in the background. But yeah, thanks for watching. Double or Nothing, man. Right out of the gate, thoughts on the pay-per-view tonight?
I'm not gonna lie to y'all. Like going into it, I was like, all right, here we go, another empty wrestling event. But like by like halfway through the card, I was like, all right, this is actually a great show. And I hate to say, well, I ain't gonna say I hate to say I'm wrong, but in this case, I love to say that I'm wrong. Like I think they knocked it out the park tonight. It was a great show all the way around.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. It's crazy how far the no crowd goes, because they got a lot of the roster out there. And I heard a lot of chants tonight too. Like they were making a funny chant about the horse, which we'll get to the horse here a little bit. But they chanted for the horse. There were "This is awesome" chants, and
I heard a Vanguard chant. Yeah.
Man, Big Swole was she was getting after
shout
out tonight, man.
At one point,
she needed some decaf tonight or something, man. She was all over the place. We need Cedric out.
Yeah, at one point she faked that direct out.
Yeah.
She jumped. Did you see that shot where she jumped in front of the camera and the director didn't know which camera to take?
Yeah. I saw that. Logan, favorite match of the night, and I think you'll probably speak for all of us, but favorite match of the night tonight?
I have to go with the Stadium Stampede.
Yeah, I knew. Yeah. Is it unanimous? Like,
right?
How incredible was that shit?
It was different, man.
And people. I saw Just Incredible, follower of Kayfabe Connection. Much respect to sort of like an unnamed member of the clique. Much respect to him, but like he was on there like, oh, this professional wrestling, you're killing the business. And like we joked in our group chat during the show, like, oh, look at them killing the business. And it's funny because that's kind of the Bucks moniker that they went with for years, killing the business. Yeah. If anything, it's evolving. And that's how a lot of things go. You see guys like Cornette,
You see a lot of old school cats. I mean, hell, we even talk about it with basketball. I'm the old curmudgeon dude that hates the new era of basketball. Dude, especially, I was crying during The Last Dance, literally, because it was like, man, I watched that era come and go, and like, I don't really care for this era of basketball. So I get it playing devil's advocate, but man, at the same time, when it comes to wrestling, I'm not on that wave with wrestling. Like, I love this era of innovation. Like, if we say we didn't have the thing that we're not going to name going on currently, would we have seen a Stadium Stampede match happen?
Nope, that was literally my last thought of the show. Like, if this
Right.
was a regular Double or Nothing, like, no doubt in my mind, Double or Nothing would have been a great show because that's one of their big shows of the year.
Staple shows.
Right.
But there was no way we would have a Stadium Stampede match.
Absolutely. So we're thankful that they have to think outside of the box right now. And, you know, on our last episode of Kayfabe Connection, subscribe on YouTube. If you haven't already, what the hell's your problem? Subscribe. Yeah, or maybe you want to hear Kyle's wrestling review. We're going to cover, man, Bobby Lashley really looked good against Drew McIntyre. Or you could subscribe to us where you're actually going to hear about more than just one company. But that's neither here nor there. Getting back to it. It's funny how okay, I'll just say it flat out. Money in the Bank, golden opportunity to do something. We had a watch party, right? We had a watch party. It was intriguing, not gonna lie. Then we watched it, and it was like Three Stooges humor, poo poo pee pee, slip on the water, janitor, whoa. None of it was innovative. And it's like, dude, of all the things they could have done, they could have had explosions, like someone flying out of a window, like Die Hard, like anything. They could have had cool cameos that made sense. Nothing happened. And, you know, you heard splats. They killed Alistair.
Wait, what you talking about? We got a Brother Love cameo. He came out the toilet.
I love shitting on WWE because it's garbage. Dude love.
Man.
But man, like, they had a golden opportunity and they fumbled it. Pun intended, right? Stadium Stampede. But man, like, that was, I haven't laughed, not laughing at it like, oh, this is stupid, but laughing at how hilarious, like, it was super creative, man. It was such a creative match, man. Like, there's so much that stood out. I don't want to give bit by bit away for it because people are going to maybe go back and watch the replay, or maybe they're going to catch it later on after this episode or whenever this airs, you know. But, man, some things that stood out. I mean, of course, like, I tweeted it out at the letter K, FABE Connection on Twitter. I tweeted it out. This is the most gift wrestling match of all time.
Oh, yeah.
This is going to be the most gift. There were so many spots. I'm trying to think of everything that stood out, but the pool with Matt Hardy, we saw all versions of Matt Hardy, even like he did the version 2 shit with like Matt facts, but it was like a matter of fact or whatever. Like, dude, and they had all the little stupid
The entrances was dope too, like.
Yeah, the football, dude.
Yeah.
Man, we need those inner circle football jerseys. I don't know if those are going to be at Hot Topic or Pro Wrestling Tees.
I bet you Pro Wrestling Tees.
Yeah, why
on our live in the morning.
Ryan Bergen's just smelling money right now. Like,
this is unlike them because normally they would have tweeted out the link like that moment.
Right. Well, the servers are down, right? Because of the Owen Hart.
Yeah. Owen Hart broke Pro Wrestling Tees.
Oh, right. Yeah. They Owen Hart legit just destroyed Pro Wrestling Tees where the server was just down.
Right.
They said already in 5 days, it's basically the number one selling shirt of the year. And it's only been on sale for 5 days.
That's crazy. Insane.
That's absolute insanity. So, but yeah, getting back to Stadium Stampede, the Hardy stuff was incredible. The swimming pool, I had no idea there was a pool at the Jaguar Stadium. That was wild.
That stadium is nice, man.
Right? You know what they remind me of? Remember back when I think it might have been when Derek Jeter had something to do with the Marlins, I guess. But remember there would be like bikini-clad women like swimming in the pool and at the home plate in the Marlins Stadium. That's what I guess that's what they were going for with that.
Yeah.
Oh,
It must be a Florida thing, I guess.
Okay. Yeah, the Hangman stuff was just incredible, and if you watch Being the Elite, they really played on that. There was a lot of callbacks to different stuff on the match, especially if you watch BTE. But just the Hangman Page stuff was incredible. The entrance with the horse, like we got two Sammy running gifts like back to back. Like in this match, we had Sammy running from Hangman on horseback, and then we had part two of the golf cart with Broken Matt and Kenny. It just is. How many times did you just crack up during the match? Like the Jaguars mascot got the Judas effect to the face. Like there was so much hilarious shit happening.
Rick Knox got super kicked.
Yeah, Matt Jackson was like celebrating in the end zone doing the Alex Wright. Like, remember that? Alex Wright? That shit was so funny, man.
Man, the challenge.
The challenge, yeah. He threw the flag on him. And then, Aubrey Jericho had the challenge flag, and they went to the tent and watched the replay. Like,
right.
Kenny Omega drinking the milk at the bar.
Yeah, Hangman and Kenny drinking the milk, like Bob Merrick and Freebird status.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about. It's nuanced, it's creative, it's hilarious. You know, Hager meeting Hangman in the bar, like you see Hangman telling the horse to stay, and then you see him, he's going to the bar. He sees the lobby sign. He's like,
right.
There's, the slam on the pool table. They had shit in spots happening all over the stadium. And I thought it was so funny when it was like, Aubrey blew the whistle to start, and they did the longest yard. Was that Ortiz that did the longest yard where he did like the missile drop kick? Dude, I was immediately out of the gate. I lost it. I was crying, laughing. But they literally did the longest yard spot when they were first practicing in the prison yard. Like that shit, man. I can't say it enough, man. Like it just taking an idea and taking a crappy situation and going, we can do literally whatever we want in this match. Like,
right.
There's no rules, and we got a big stadium.
Tony Khan literally, he has access to all of that stuff. Like, just playground.
I tweeted that out. I said, when your wrestling company owner has real football clout. Shade.
They only use the ring for like 2 minutes, like.
Right. That was hilarious too.
Dude, but the fact they repainted the field and everything, like they went all out with this.
Exactly.
Oh yeah, they had the end zones and the sport entrance. Yeah, they went.
The 50-yard line had AEW on it.
Yep, the cheerleaders were there. The Jaguar cheerleaders.
Well, Matt Jackson went up the whole field.
Yeah. Right.
Hilarious.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it was that match, it delivered. Like, and I know we said on the last episode that we're not purists all the way, but when it comes to the title should be on the line in the main event. I was actually okay with this because how the hell, there's no possible way that you could have followed that match as good as Brody Lee and Moxley ended up. We'll cover it here. But I had to talk about the main event because we're fresh off the heels of the show. There's no way they could have covered the follow that. Nothing to follow that. You got to go home after that.
Right.
I think the right team went over. I think this was a win for the Elite. Like, Inner Circle is the fun heel stable, like the cool stable. And man, dude, the trolling too. I saw some people online that were like, Undisputed Era greater than Inner Circle. And I'm just like, I'm doing the Captain Luke Picard facepalm. Like, come on. I love all those workers and those guys. They're all cool guys. We've seen them wrestle over the years. That's the thing. I think they're cooler than Inner Circle if you weren't watching the Indies 8 years ago.
Right.
But for people that have watched it, it's like, I've seen that already. I've seen
it's nothing new.
Champ. I've seen all that stuff already. And not that we follow the product close enough that we can really judge week by week what's going on. But we checked out a long time ago, and especially even with NXT. Because I think that's the thing now with people that are growing out of WWE, they're like, well, I still watch NXT. Wasn't that the thing for like a long time? Well, I still watch takeovers because Triple H runs that. But
yeah, well, I did it for a while, but
I did.
But then you kind of just fell out of it. And it's like, like I don't care. And I think especially once NXT started running head to head with AEW, it's like it's a wrap after that. Like I'm siding with this shit. And it's funny too, right? And we're going on with this. I hate to keep rambling and give you guys your chance, but I'm thinking about this too. It's funny that the rhetoric you hear is, well, can't you get that kumbaya wrestling Twitter? We're like, can't we just love both wrestling companies? And it's like,
no,
they're not allowing that to happen. Do you not see that? Like, they're literally coercing you into, you got to pick one. They fucking ESPN had Tyson's matches, knockouts, or whatever the fuck it was, coinciding virtually with his appearance on Double or Nothing.
All of a sudden out of nowhere. Can't we like both? Like, they're not allowing for that to happen.
Nobody told WWE to put NXT on USC on Wednesday nights. That was done to spite Tony Khan and AEW. Right. They picked this fight and they're losing tremendously, as we covered before with the ratings. Yeah,
it's like me fighting a baby. Like there is no fight. I love babies. I would never harm a baby. But you get the analogy here, right? It doesn't make any sense. Like, give it up. Like, put it on Thursdays or something. Like, or I don't know, whenever. Just Wednesday is not cutting it. Now? Let me ask you. We'll get back to the pay-per-view, but we're covering good ground here because I know we're going to be labeled anti WWE podcast. They just shit all over it. The contrarian WWE guys. We love to do it. It gets exhausting bitching about WWE or shitting on it. Trust me. And most of our favorite guys are over there, prisoners with their property of t-shirt that they wear before they go to bed. Finn Balor playing with his Lego set with his property of NXT shirt on. Like, but do you think if they did go to another night, do you think that you would maybe go back and start watching it again? If say NXT was on a different night, or you're at this point where you're like it's DX in the tank status. Like I'm on this. I'm in this army. Like I'm not.
I mean, I might go on YouTube and check out the highlights of what happened, but I mean, I don't do that now, so
right.
I can't even tell you who's an NXT champion right now. That's so much I know.
Right.
Is it Adam Cole? All right.
Like 8 years, yeah.
All right, yeah, there you go.
I don't see myself doing it. Yeah, I mean, certain guys like Matt Riddle, maybe, but I can't sit down for 2 hours and watch.
Yeah,
like Fred, like you say, we've seen these matches in Bola and PWG and Ring of Honor. Like, all right, give us something new.
Right, like Keith Lee, I would like to get behind them, but.
Well, and he's feuding with the same people for like 8 months, and you're like, I've seen that already.
Right. They literally have Walter in a company, and they're dropping. Like, I still don't understand that. How you drop the ball with Walter?
Yeah, he'll be Big Show status soon enough. He'll have a sitcom, like a Full House sitcom, like
I hope he has. I hope he gets out his contract before they ruin him forever.
Well, it's because he don't hit the weight like Braun,
He's not a body guy.
Right.
Yeah, Kevin Dunn doesn't think that he's jacked enough.
Man, I'm sitting here. What'd you say?
He'll be wearing long tights in a minute.
I'm sitting here thinking about Sammy Guevara taking like chops from Walter, like overselling them.
Right. Shout out to Sammy, man.
Sammy was a star tonight in my book.
Right.
And Larry was right. Like, we knew he was going to take the pin if the pinfall went for the Elite's favor. You kind of figured in Sammy's going to take the pin. One thing I will say though, surprised that we didn't get a Revolt sighting. I know.
I forgot all about that. Yeah.
Larry called for that on our last episode here. I was surprised, but I didn't leave the pay-per-view going, oh fuck, man, like they should have. Because there really wasn't really a place for them to come in there. It doesn't make sense for them to just show up and like they don't have a side, so like, what would it matter?
The match was entertaining enough.
Yeah, what, they're gonna show up and hit the Hardys over the back with a chair and just start breathing heavy?
Yeah,
That's what NXT would have did.
Right.
They aired All Out. We're not getting All Under. I'm kind of pissed about that. I was hoping for more prepositions to follow after In and Out.
All under.
So I gotta say I am bummed we're not getting All Under on September 5th. But yes, they aired a commercial. We're getting All Out September 5th on pay-per-view. Notice I was like I'm waiting to see live from Chicago. Like I know it's not happening, but it's like just that little glimmer of hope of like, is it gonna be in Chicago? Because that's a 3-hour drive for your boy. But yeah, All Out's taking place September 5th. That looks to be the next pay-per-view. And how refreshing is that, dude? This pay-per-view ended. We're approaching June, right? That's 3 months away. So much time to like breathe life into storylines on Dynamite.
And to save up $50.
Yeah, $50, bro. Like, man, I got to do like 80 paper routes before I can afford $50, man.
Right.
Like so much work, you know. Maybe I could sell one of these cabinets, which will never happen in a million years, from the great folks at Arcade One Up. Shout out to Arcade One Up, NBA Jam coming soon to the Mankind Cave. Your boy's going to be over here dropping bombs with Joe Dumars and Isaiah Thomas and Bill Lambier. So shout out to the good folks at Arcade One Up. And while we're doing shameless plugs, shout out to Pizza Hut for the delicious stuffed crust pizza for tonight's pay-per-view. So just shameless plugs. Maybe I'll get a free stuffed crust or an arcade cabinet here soon enough.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, let's get to the championship match. Brody Lee, Jon Moxley. Logan, what did you think about this championship match, man?
Man, it was very solid, very hard hitting. It was a war. And it, like Larry was texting us, it kind of did remind me of like a Taz versus Bigelow match.
Yeah. Right?
But
like
this match,
spot on.
Right. But you could tell that this match was used to build Brody Lee up because it didn't make him look any less.
Yeah, he didn't get pinned.
Right.
And dude, the spot into the ramp, have we ever seen that? Like,
no.
I don't think I've ever seen that spot.
I wasn't expecting that at all.
Just Bam Bam, like I said, Bam Bam and Taz, but that's about it.
Right. Oh, that German against the guardrail. Tomorrow I might go back and watch it. It was that good.
But the best part of the match, I think, is that, like, you know how they beat your head over with, like Michael Cole said, oh, the match could end at any minute, but it never does. In this instance, it did because Moxley applied a sleeper out of nowhere.
Yeah,
and he won a match with a sleeper hold.
A sleeper hold. Bro, that's like the most old schooly move ever.
That's one thing I give this company. Like, you never know when the match is going to end. It could end on a roll up, a schoolboy, a sleeper like tonight.
Every match doesn't have to end with a tombstone or rock bottom.
Same finish.
Or Stone Cold Stunner, you know?
Yeah, it's not the video game. It's not, oh my God, triangle, and then signature square, and then X for the finisher. Like, it ain't video game wrestling. Like, like Chris Hero says it, a match can end at any time. Like, and I loved it, man. I absolutely loved it. Moxley looks just megastar after this. But like Logan said, it was a war. So both men look strong coming out of that match. Brody Lee all busted up. He had his hairy titties out. Like, just killed it, man. Like, I'll like Logan said, I'll run that back tomorrow.
Right. I didn't even really know he was that jacked because I never really seen him without a shirt on or whatever.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. My favorite Luke Harper memory was going to the shitty city of Columbus, Ohio. Fuck that place. Go Blue. All my Michigan people know what I'm talking about. But I met the Wyatt family, and I had a Red Wing hoodie on, and Luke Harper looked straight at me, shook my hand, and said, "Fuck the Red Wings." Because, you know, he is of the greater Toronto area, New York, New York area where Toronto, New York are adjacent. So he's a Maple Leaf fan. And I was like, hey, no disrespect, maybe you'll win a cup in the next 50 years. Like, I don't know. But so it was just friendly banter. But he's such a cool dude. He was laughing because somebody was having him sign the figures. And he's like, oh, look, they got my bald spot in there. Like, he had the long hair with the bald spot. He laughed so hard, dude. But he's such a cool dude. And man, was he misused. This was like the misused championship match, the Island of Misfit Toys match.
Yeah.
This goes to show when you get a fresh coat of paint, you have characters that can actually get over. Brody Lee's a star after this match. Jon Moxley is an even bigger megastar after this match. And I think Logan made that point in our little group chat before the show. Moxley is a champ for the people. Like, he needs to be the champ with fans around. So I agree with Logan. I think we're going to see a long run by Moxley until we actually have fans back again, because or unless they give him the belt back when, like, I don't, but something's got to give, because he is the champion that needs fans that are there, like, cheering him on and really gaining that momentum as a champion and as a star with that fandom behind him, you know?
Right.
So yeah, I dug that. I dug that championship match. I agree. I'll run that match back. Now, a match that garnered quite a bit of criticism for the match itself and the belt. The belt seemed like, I don't understand the hate on the belt.
Oh, I love it.
I'm getting at here, the TNT Championship match. Larry, if you could quickly just walk us through this TNT Championship match. Lance Archer, Cody Rhodes. What were your thoughts on the match and the belt design and Tyson's involvement, all that good stuff?
Well, for one, I'm a huge fan of the belt design, because it's kind of like an homage, what I was saying, to the original NWA TV Championship.
Yep.
That Arn Anderson held and many other people held, Magnum TA.
Yep.
Almost down to the color scheme, like the red strap, silver plate, which I saw somebody on Twitter say that all belts should be gold, which is ludicrous. Because if anything, like, having a world title gold and having that belt silver, it elevates the world title even more, because it's like almost like the Olympics. Like, everybody's not a gold medalist. Some people are silver medalists. Some people are bronze medalists.
That's a great way of putting it. Like, the ring could be bronze, you know?
Yeah.
Right.
But I was actually surprised with the outcome, I guess. Like, I didn't expect Cody to win, but I understand why he won, because I think he can elevate that title and, like, make it hot for a few months as ever long as he holds it. Like I told you on the group text, I think I could see MJF being the person to take it off of him. But I also, just like Brody Lee losing in the last match we talked about, I thought Archer didn't lose anything by losing this match either.
Yeah, it's interesting. Like I said, the hate. I've heard people compare Cody Rhodes to Jeff Jarrett when he was running TNA. Logan, have you seen any King of the Mountain matches with Cody Rhodes in AEW yet? Like,
none.
No, neither have I.
I haven't seen Finger Poke of Doom or anything. No.
No, has he held the world title in, like, multiple reigns where he just goes over with no explanation? No,
None.
I haven't seen that either. So where do you get the Jeff Jarrett comparison? Because he's like the dude from Slapshot who was like the player coach, and he's kind of a
Right.
VP, but he's kind of, that's all you got. I said this to a friend to not be named, because there were some people giving me mixed reactions during the show. Larry, we already know Larry was getting his clown texts from a certain individual too, but I got the, oh man, like, no way Cody should have went over. Well, none of us expected that, which that can be a good thing sometimes, unpredictability.
Right.
But also, as I stated, this is the first elite member to get a singles title in AEW, because Omega and Hangman are the tag champs, but this is a single champion, singles wrestling champion. Never happened in how long they've been running stuff since All In. This is the first time anybody's won a singles belt in the elite. Like, what did they need to go 5 years without a belt for people to shut up about it? Like, it's so annoying to me. And especially people that watched another company have a certain individual that always put himself over
Right.
in his Helmsley era.
I saw nothing wrong with Jeff Jarrett.
McMahon in every corner. Dude, if you got through McMahon in every corner in 8 million King of the Mountain matches, Jarrett with the guitar, if you got through that, then you can manage to get through AEW, where since All In ran, which was how long ago, to today,
Right.
fucking end of May in 2020, finally one of the Elite members gets a singles title. Oh, why did he go over? Like, dude, give me a break, man. I don't understand. I don't get it. Like, I don't understand. So, okay, so what? So they're high ups in the company. So it doesn't make sense because it'd be that's one thing. Because like the latter examples of Triple H and Jarrett, how many whack matches has Cody had under the AEW umbrella?
None.
You could say comparatively that this match tonight probably wasn't the strongest. It was okay, but as Logan and I were talking about, the story was different. The story didn't lend itself like a Cody Dustin feud or a Cody MJF feud, or even Cody Spears, because that was a great quick feud.
Right.
The story just didn't resonate the way that those did. And that's okay. It happens.
And it's unfair too. It's like the same thing we saw with Kenny Omega when he was in New Japan. Like his matches are so great. It's like the only thing you can compare him to is his own matches.
His own work.
And it's unfair because Cody put out bang after banger. Like at some point he's not gonna have like that top tier banger, but it was still a great match.
Right.
Yeah. Exactly. Well, and that's like shout out to Griselda. Boop, 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 boop. That's like me saying like Hitler Wears Hermes like 2 was cool, but like I love part 7 and then 5, and like that's not saying that part 2 sucked. It's just his body of work is just so consistent. You're comparing the art to the art itself, not his counterparts. It's just his own art that's getting compared to it. So to all my music hip hop heads out there for that analogy. But yeah, I don't want to sit here and go, the right man went over. It could have went either way. It was Cody's way tonight. Big deal. We'll get over it. Lance Archer will come out to his 3 Days Grace song and murder people, and he'll still be a monster heel next week on Wednesday Night Dynamite. Nothing was lost for him. He doesn't need a title.
Shout out to Jake the Snake in this match too.
He was great.
Yeah, he was.
And he's great with Lance Archer. Now, speaking of, this is a good segue of great managers paired with great wrestlers. Let's go Tarantino style to the opener. The Casino Royale ladder match, Andre the Giant Memorial, whatever. This opener, speaking of fun, isn't it weird? Like, it's wild how the opening match and the last match were both kind of like bookended in terms of like they were the most fun, because that Orange Cassidy killed it. Orange Cassidy, when he just laid the ladder down and was trying to reach up.
I was dying, man. He had to go to the announce table for the rules.
He's like, so what are the rules? Like, dude, Orange Cassidy was the star of the match. He didn't even win.
Right.
Some of the spot, dude, Darby Allin.
I hope he's okay.
Allin, man.
I hope he's okay.
He did the skateboard spot off the ladder and came down hard on his leg. I didn't see any X's thrown up, but still, though, that kind of stuff, the coffin drop, like, there's moves that he does, man, and it's just crazy. Like, and he does it in a way where you're not, like, I've seen, like, how many times have we seen Tope Suicidas, and you're like, okay, like, it waters it down. You're not too impressed by it. But his high flying actually, it's like, you're sitting there, like, cringing, kind of like, oh, like, man, what's he thinking? You kind of got to wonder too how long he's going to go for those spots to really get over, or if he's going to find sort of like a more mellow work rate, because I know that's what Kevin and Kyle are saying on their wrestling talk show is WWE works a safe style like Miz, where these other indie-rific companies,
Seth Rollins is a safe worker,
he gonna slow down.
Rollins is rocking his Forever 21, hurting people, so
he'll do like Ospreay, change his style up a little bit.
But yeah, you might see him kind of mature his style a little bit, because you can only take that kind of damage so much until it's to the point where you're like, dude, like, I gotta be able to walk around in my 30s, He did a great job. Who else do you think stood out in this match? Obviously, the winner,
obvious,
like
Scorpio Sky.
Scorpio
Sky, yeah.
No, you guys had brought it up. You thought that maybe they kind of, with Kaz and Scorpio Sky, that they kind of tease like a SCU dissension, like, Scorpio might step out on his own and be kind of like this heel singles guy. When do you think that happens? Like, do you think the time's right for them? They didn't do it in the match, but
yeah. Well, if he does defect, I don't see him being a heel, maybe a face, and maybe Kazarian and Daniels will go back to the addiction or something like that. I don't know, but I definitely think like they've been teasing us a while with this Scorpio Sky solo run.
I could see him holding that TNT title.
Yeah, actually, that mid-tier title would be a perfect spot for him.
Yep.
Yeah, or even the ring, maybe even like
the ring next year.
Yeah, the AEW ring. I could see them putting that on him. So yeah, man, the cage spot I thought was so dope because he was under the poker chip, so like he took that high spot. Was it Darby that landed on him?
Right.
Yeah,
it was right. And there was all kinds of different spots that happened, but Cage just like Swolverine. Get your shit and
I bought this from him personally.
When he came to the ring, he broke a ladder in half.
yeah. Like he emerged like a Wolverine, like out of the water, that classic scene with Hugh Jackman, but like he just bounced up from all the shit.
And I would like to pat myself on the back because I called that yesterday.
Yeah, dude, we called quite a bit, man.
I will tell you. I told you in the group chat. I was watching a little bit of the pre-show before. I didn't get to see the whole pre-show.
I didn't. I was out getting my pizza.
Yeah, to tell you the truth, I don't remember who. I had to look up who won, but
his best friends.
All right, best friends won. But anyway, I remember hearing Taz's voice because he commentated, and I was in the kitchen, like I was hearing. I wasn't watching, but I was listening, and I was thinking to myself, like, man, they got to find something better for Taz to do soon. And then, sure enough, this happens tonight.
Yeah.
And the ninth entrant came out, 3, 2, 1, and some weird music hits. It's Taz's voice. And he's like, he does the intro, and I don't remember what he said verbatim, but it's like Taz talking about, did he say the Machine? Is he going by the Machine moniker? Or like, I'm trying
I'm pretty sure that's why they paired them together, because you got the suplex machine and you got the Machine. Yeah, it makes sense.
This is going to be a better version of what, and no knock to them, what they trying to do.
With Samoa Joe?
Right, then with
Taz and Joe.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, and I think it's a perfect pairing. Like Larry's right, man. Like this is such a great pairing for Taz and Cage, because Cage, you've really seen him go from, dude, he was the Dolph Ziggler of PWG.
Yep.
Right? He was the curtain jerker king of PWG. In fact, like, because my wife, she's like, holy shit, he's jacked. Look at him. And I'm like, you don't remember? Like, we were in Reseda, and he and Adam Cole were in the opener at PWG 13. We were right there. She's like, oh, yeah, he was there. Okay, yeah. So, but yeah, in true typical Cage fashion, he was always the PWG curtain jerker. And we've seen his kind of rise to the top. He was the TNA champion for a cup of coffee. And so he became a world champ. He had that little feud with Elgin. And I could really see, I know there's a lot of controversy with him as a person, and especially with his comments on Twitter and him walking it back and saying, oh, I'm in character like that, kayfabe. Yeah. But all in all, like, I don't know if AEW is going to pull the trigger on him. If they did, an Unbreakable fucking Machines reunion would be good as a tag, but I don't see them doing the tag route. I think, and especially, he's got the poker chip. Like, that's basically the Money in the Bank kind of equivalent. So Cage is already like rocket strapped to him.
And this company has the best monsters right now, and all of them look good.
And what is the irony about that? Because didn't we hear that for the longest time?
When they started, it was like, oh, look at these guys. They're all small. It's the same thing when ECW was around. People used to say, oh, they're all midgets or whatever, and they're small, they're vanilla midgets. Look at them now. They got Luchasaurus. They got Wardlow. They got Brian Cage. They got Brody Lee. They got Lance Archer.
And shout out to Luchasaurus. He looked good in this match too. Man, the way he uses his feet, like
yeah, he's got like the Daniel Bryan kicks going and like acrobatics. Like, he's not a punch kick big dude repetitive wrestler. And that's the thing too, because dude, Brian Cage does a 619. Like,
Brian Cage is like Ricochet meets Brock Lesnar, like.
Yeah, when I first got on PWG, he was like kind of skinny a little bit. I didn't say like bony, but like.
No, he wasn't as jacked as he is now.
Right, and then all of a sudden he like blew up into like Steiner, you know.
Yeah, if you watch the early Brian Cage in PWG, dude, it's remarkably different. That's like some Barry Bonds shit. Remember the Barry Bonds rookie card? He looked like he was like 150 soaking wet. The jersey is like sagging off of his arm because his arms are so small. And then now he's just like,
his head is too big. Yeah,
but I think he'll be a good. But he'll be a good look for that title, and just to by them hot shotting him into a title match goes to show you what that they got.
And
the rocket ship on his back, like people like to say.
Yeah, and they're smart enough to know like if he's gonna be a heel, he's not that great of a talker, so that's why they paired him with Taz. Because Taz is a great talker.
Right. I don't think he ever played the heel before.
And I mean, if
interesting.
And if you really want to reach, you could go with the Kyle and Kevin's wrestling talk rhetoric and go, oh, well, he was a WWE guy. He was in NXT and got cut. And because Brian Cage was in NXT, he did the weapon.
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah, he was in the Performance Center and all that shit, and they didn't know dick what to do with him. I guess his preliminary matches just weren't impressive, and like he went to Dr. Tom. Shout out to a good friend of the Kayfabe Connection, Dr. Tom Pritchard. Great wrestling mind and just a great dude. He's always been great to me, so appreciate him. I've had long talks with him over the years, and we talked about that with Cage because I interviewed Brian Cage many years ago, and I asked Dr. Pritchard, I'm like, yo, so like what happened with, if you don't mind me asking, what happened with him at the Performance Center? Like what, and it was like FCW maybe at the time. I'm using that term loosely, but just the farm WWE in development. I guess it's kind of like when you play varsity and you're on tryouts and they put you with some whack freshman on a drill and it makes you look bad. Like that's essentially what happened with Cage. They put him up with some guys that just weren't. They're super green, and it made Cage kind of look like shit. And not to Cage's credit, it's just Cage couldn't carry them enough to make the match work out, and so Cage took the brunt of it, and they passed on him. So, and I've said it for years, man. Brian Cage is criminally underrated because, just like Logan was saying about Luchasaurus, in that same vein, Brian Cage again. And what Larry said, he's Ricochet and Brock Lesnar into one. This dude hits the Rey Mysterio 619 with ease, running and grabbing the rope and swinging his legs through. And this dude is ginormous and can pull off acrobatic moves.
The innovative offense.
Is he not in a major company as the champion?
Right.
Until now, because they have the foresight to pull the trigger on him, and I'm extremely happy for that guy. He's a cool dude. Logan brought up a good point too. Wifey may want to do some ring announcing duties for AEW. Melissa Santos, maybe we'll see her in the company too.
Yeah, she's gonna wind up coming probably.
Yeah, so Lucha Underground, like she was a great ring announcer, man. Like she would be perfect, So I'm happy for Brian Cage. Logan called it. I don't want to say I was shocked. I was surprised by the pairing with Taz. That was a pleasant surprise. But that was the surprise of the show. And I thought, is it on the level of Moxley? People could debate that from last year. But was it enough for us to flip out and go, fuck yeah, let's go. Like, this is awesome. We got another great addition to this company. So that match was fun. And it went on it was like a 30-minute opener. And it was just fun. It was a fun match. Orange Cassidy with the comedy. I know some people picked that apart, but there were fun spots with Darby Allin. Everybody kind of got their shit in the match. Larry, one last thing too. You said it best, man. Kip Sabian is improving week in and week out, man.
Yeah. It's funny because he's doing what I thought Janela would be for this company, because Janela's kind of taking a back seat, I think. But Kip Sabian, I can see him being like a top heel in this company in the future.
Right.
Yeah.
Especially with the pairing with Penelope Ford, and I mean, we're gonna talk about that too. But she's getting great too.
Yeah. Speaking of that, we can just roll right into that match. What were you saying, Logan?
I say, Penelope Penelope is pretty dope. I like her. Hurricane Rana is real smooth. I think this was a good look for Joey Janela too. I think it kind of made him look real good.
Yeah, he had the moment of the night. I mean, of the match too. What he told Brian Cage something. He yelled at him.
Yeah.
What I can't remember what he said. Yeah. I was crying laughing when he said that.
This is not for kids on the YouTube studio. You got to pick 4 kids or not. This is definitely not. I click that shit every week we upload it. Not for kids.
But Kip Sabian, I like his gimmick though. That bad boy thing. It's pretty dope.
Yeah. We'll go right into it. Penelope Ford was filling in for an injured Britt Baker, and Penelope Ford and Chris Statlander. Like, I enjoyed the match. Statlander goes over, but Penelope looked great. I think that was the theme of tonight. Certain people went over; they look good, but even the losers look good, and doing so, doing the job. I agree with you. I think Penelope Ford went from like, yeah, she's the, hot blonde and Kip Sabian's fiance. Like, she's pretty and, and it's not to minimalize her as like ornament or eye candy for the other wrestler. But that was kind of the only thing I think some casual fans knew about her. And I think tonight she broke through that seal and she's more than just a pretty face now. I think her wrestling skills definitely were showcased tonight. Statlander is somebody who had a lot of hype coming in, and I don't want to say she didn't live up to the hype, but I think she's leaving some stuff to be desired for certain people. So tonight, though, I thought she looked great, and hopefully she rides this momentum out too on her end.
I'm thinking like the women, a lot of people like to bury the women wrestling in this company because a lot of these women are fresh faces and stuff like that. But I think the women and showed on this pay-per-view that they're starting to come around now. Because even the women's title match was awesome to me. Like,
let's get into it.
Rewatchable.
Yeah. Let's get into it. First of all, Hikaru Shida, I'm buying the shirt. I'm copping that shirt. Like, I already know the shoes I got behind me. I already know what shoes I'm pairing up with that fit. That shirt's getting got. This match was important for obvious reasons with the recent passing. Man, it's like the Shad Gaspard stuff, and then now this. I woke up to that stuff.
Right.
Seeing all the tweets, and I'm not gonna sit here and pretend like I'm this like Stardom super fan gatekeeper. I've been watching Stardom for 20 years now, but rest in peace to Hana Kamara. I don't know too much about the situation. I just know the basics like everybody else. I'm not going to go back and read what people that don't have a fucking life that are sociopaths tweeted to her or messaged her wherever they were messaging her. And I'm not going to turn this into an after school special or try to be super self-righteous. All I'm going to say is I can't speak for everybody, but I know personally I was bullied growing up, and I was in a real rough and tough area when gangs were scary, where it wasn't just dorks hanging out at the mall like messing with people, when it was like some like serious early 90s gang type shit. And it was super scary. And so I dealt with a lot of bullying and stuff like that. And, I learned how to defend myself and nip that in the bud, and played sports and then just kind of grew into myself and the bullying stopped. I think it's a fucking cop-out when people say, well, just stand up to the bullies and stop being so soft. When I hear shit like that, it doesn't work that way for everybody, man. And violence doesn't solve every problem. Did I shove bullies into the wall when they were fucking with me and they stopped fucking with me after that? Absolutely. But I'm not going to be an advocate to say, just be shittier to a person or match their shittiness to make them stop.
Right.
It's not hard to be kind. For instance, we were in the grocery store today. Karen comes up. I said a slur. Did I say the K word, Karen? Is that okay? Is YouTube going to censor us? So we were at the self-scan at the grocery store. We were picking up some stuff before the pay-per-view. And, of course, Karen comes up to an employee And she's bitching at him and saying, is there anybody working in customer service? And he's like, well, ma'am, let me, call them up, blah, 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 blah. And she's like, I got this fruit. It stinks. I got to my car. It stinks. And da-da-da. It was like broken in half. And like, he's like, how? And the guy is like being as respectful as possible. He's like, man, we can't sell that back. Like, they're not going to return it. And she's like, well, it stinks and they are going to return it. And like stormed off. And I just went off about it. And it was like, I was just talking shit about her while she could hear me and the other customers. But I'm like, nothing worse than someone getting mildly inconvenienced. You'll never see hell hath no fury like somebody mildly being inconvenienced. But the point I'm making is this, and we'll put a bow on it and get back to the action, but be kind to people. It's much easier to be nice than it is to be a fucking asshole.
Right.
It takes a lot of effort to be a stupid asshole to people. Be kind, man. This grocery store worker is the hero because the fucking billionaire that you probably worship in your free time, that person isn't helping you one iota. This dude's out here risking his health so that you can get your stinky fruit. I don't know. Maybe when you grab the fruit, check for the ripeness. Smell it a little bit. Figure it out before you throw it into your cart and your stupid Jetta or whatever you drive. Come on, man. Like, it's not hard to be nice to people. So I'll put a bone. Rest in peace to her.
Right.
Please stop being mean to people. Stop being the cool dude on the internet. Why do we have so many people that try to be the cool guy? People shitting on Hart, Owen's son. Oh, whining about his dad. Gee, I don't know. His dad was wrongfully murdered, and he's mourning over it. Because
Exactly.
you're salty because you can't get your Hart edition of 2K21 with the DLC character with Blue Blazer and Owen Hart.
Yeah, the Rising Stars pack or whatever the hell they
The
call it.
Rising Stars pack.
Legends pack.
DLC. Sickos, man. People are just sick, man. So be nice to each other. What did they say when progress was once cool? What did they say before the show?
Don't be a rule number. Yeah.
Rule number 1: don't be a dick. It's not hard, people. Be cool. Be nice. Be kind to one another. Anyways, let's get back to the action here. Just a quick little Saved by the Bell timeout. Good grief, man. It just drives me bonkers, man. Like, just being a dick for no reason.
Yeah.
So there was significance in this championship match. I know there's people that might throw this out there. How many blown spots were there? Like, how many false finishes? This was my favorite women's match in AEW history. Is that a bold statement?
I think I could say that too. I could probably say that.
That's pretty safe to say.
Yeah.
I thoroughly enjoyed this match. The poker table spot, like all the can-do stuff that they put in there, the kickouts, she looked like $1 million. And now we go from, how can a little wrestler like live up? This match made sense because there were weapons involved.
Yeah, literally.
This wasn't a William Regal versus Dean Malenko match. This was just a spot fest.
No, the story was simple. Literally, the story was she's chopping down the giant, chopping down the tree.
Like, I
got my rocket science.
Yeah, see how easy it is to make something work. It's just simple. You don't need like a writer's room with 100 writers from Hollywood writing your script.
Bold and the Beautiful writers and Guiding Light or whoever. Yeah, exactly. So that women's match delivered. It was no DQ, no count out. Nyla Rose had a solid run. She's a beast. Like, there's no harm in her losing at all. Shout out to JR with the progressive. She's been a dominant champ of any gender. Like, I like that he threw that in. It was subtle too, for obvious reasons. With Nyla, like, I thought that was cool on the pre-match video. But I'll run that match back again tomorrow. That's one of those I'm gonna run it back tomorrow matches. Absolutely, 100% delivered. We're winding down here as far as matches go. I think the only thing we really haven't covered, Dustin Rhodes and Shawn Spears. It was what it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was what it
But
was.
a lot of people up in arms apparently over the underwear.
Right. You gotta.
Shout out to Sean Spears rocking the JOS Bank suit, like.
Right. I really thought that somebody was gonna debut though at first, because when he trolled too, like he looked back at the camera and started laughing. I like, all right, Chris Hero's coming.
Right. Yeah. There were people that were messaging out, Ty Dillinger should go back to being Ty Dillinger again. Why would he do that?
Exactly. And Sean Spears himself is probably okay with doing all this stuff. So, and he's still getting better positions than he had in the previous company.
I watched his Chris Van Vliet interview. Shout out to Chris Van Vliet, one of the best wrestling interviewers. His shows are an immediate listen. I see him interviewing because he's such a nice guy, and he's not doing hard copy type questions, Barbara Walters type shit. Like, he's a fan, and he's not a creeper, and he's not a lurker. He's just a cool dude that knows wrestling and is friendly and asks good questions to wrestlers and puts on fun interviews. His interview with Spears flat out was like being super modest and basically was alluding to the fact, and it's no secret, I mean, he was putting on bangers with Colt Cabana in a fucking barn in OVW down in Kentucky how many years ago that nobody was talking about or watching. And I'm not going to be like, I was watching OVW like 13 years ago and like, but he was. If you do yourself a favor, go back if you can YouTube it or try to archive it. The OVW matches with Colt Cabana and Ty Dillinger. Go back and watch those matches. Bangers, absolute bangers. So when he came to WWE and people were shitting on him, like, I don't get what his deal is. It's like, he can go, but he was alluding to on the Chris Van Vliet show that he's kind of at the end of his run. Like he's basically like, what's a good NBA like journeyman? Like, you know,
he's Patrick Ewing in Orlando right now. That's what he's Shout out to Patrick Ewing too. I heard he got prayers up for Patrick Ewing.
Right.
Yeah, shout out to the Georgetown Hoyas. Georgetown's campus is one of the most beautiful campuses I've ever visited. Yeah. And they got the best pizza spots out there on the Georgetown campus. So, yeah, shout out to the Hoyas. But, yeah, he's at the end of his run. He doesn't need to be a world beater. He's a good utility guy that can go in there, put on a solid match. Now, he's being goofy. If he weren't, then you'd say, he's boring. This chair gimmick's dumb. Or if he shows personality, he's being too goofy. What the fuck do you want from him then? He can't be serious with the chair, and he can't be goofy with Tully Blanchard draws. So which one, like, take your pick. What is it going to be? Like, what do you want from him? Dustin, I heard, I thought he was retiring if he didn't get the TNT championship. He said that to swerve you, so they made it think that he wasn't going to show up to the pay-per-view, and he did. And I like him, like, just popping into the frame, like how they did that with him. Yeah. From behind on Sean Spears. It was what it was. I think that's the same can be said about Dustin's last pay-per-view match. It was what it was. It's really hard to get captivating stuff when he had that Cody feud. He had the Cody feud, and that was like, that's a lifetime feud, like a lifetime, all-time great Dustin Rhodes, Gold Dust, Red Dust, Stardust, whatever the fuck. That's one of the all-time great Dustin Rhodes matches that you're ever going to see. So we're kind of like teetering, in a different direction of, okay, we need to find a good feud for him. He can still go for his age. So again, it was utility player versus utility player. This is like watching the bench players like play one-on-one on your basketball team. Right. Like they're duking it out. They're both equally good. It was what it was.
Yeah, he's basically a Scott Burrell on the roster right now.
Scott Burrell. Shout out to him. Last but not least, and I think this was the show stealer of the night, meaning you didn't know what to expect out of it, but it exceeded all expectations. I'm talking about MJF versus Jungle Boy. I walked away from that match going, MJF played it way more serious than I thought he was going to, and didn't goof with him like he did with Marco. It was the exact opposite, and I think they did that for that reason, for effect. That he was so silly on Dynamite that when he got to his other Jurassic Express counterpart, it just made it 10 times more believable that like he takes him serious. This guy can actually go.
And that's his whole shtick. Like he beats up the guys you know he could beat. Or whenever a challenge arises, he has to really like go for it.
And again, MJF ekes out a victory.
Off a roll-up pin.
My wife hates
out of nowhere.
He's the last of a dying breed. He's the old school wrestler's dream.
Yep.
Old school territory heel. That's MJF.
Memphis wrestling. That's The
way he books the matches, the mechanics behind it, the thinking behind his matches, and the psyche that goes into it. The finishes, like Logan said, just a roll-up type shit.
Hell, he didn't want to shake my hand at an indie show here in New Orleans during Mania weekend.
Well played, MJF. Well played.
He said I needed $5.
Oh man.
The funny thing is, you would have given him $5, he still wouldn't shook your hand.
You're right.
Right.
And that was before I knew I just saw him in one match. I didn't even know anything about him.
Yeah, that was our introduction to MJF.
Right. He was brand spanking new at that point.
Yeah. I was in Chicago for the pay-per-view, and the MJF and Cody match was fun, man. And the fact that he got knocked out and just like fell on top of him, that was such a heel, old school territory heel way of getting the win. I love what they're doing with him. And for people to like, I love my wife. My wife hates him. And I have to explain to her, the fact that you hate him so much means he's doing a great job.
Right.
So yeah, MJF and Jungle Boy, both Jungle Boy especially, man, looked incredible. And I think that's the theme of the show. Nobody, I mean, maybe Sean Spears, we'll say, is the only one that coming out of this, you're just like, all right, like, but everybody else on this card lived up to it. Both women's matches were bangers. The title match was incredible. Luke Harper is a stud, aka Luke Harper, Brody Lee. We can finally shed that Luke Harper name at this point, because who is that guy? Right. Brody Lee killed it tonight. Moxley is stronger as ever as champ. The Elite stood tall, and one of the most entertaining matches I've seen maybe in a long time. It was a home run pay-per-view. What do you guys rank as far as this pay-per-view goes for all of the AEW shows that we've seen thus far? Did this stand out more than the others to you guys? Because I think it did.
Yeah. You go ahead.
Oh, definitely for the obvious. I mean, the no crowd thing, but I think the two bookends, like the ladder match and the Stampede match, that's what like brought this show to another level, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. Any type of predictions or anything that you guys see? Like, man, who do you think Moxley feuds with after this? Do you think they stay with Brody Lee and they have maybe like a gimmick match or like a cage match? I could see a cage match on Dynamite. I can see that.
Because why rush to Brian Cage? You know, the pay-per-view is not till September. And even if he does fight him at the pay-per-view, you know.
I don't know about y'all, but I'm missing Pac and Ray and Penta too.
Right.
Like I think Pac could be a perfect challenger for that TNT belt, I think.
Yeah.
We could see that. I honestly think we could see that, because you could have the Nightmare family kind of going at it with the Death Triangle. So out of that, you could have Dustin and QT taking on Lucha Bros. You could really play that out, and I agree with Larry. I think that's a feud we're gonna get. I think we're gonna get Cody Pac. You heard it here first. Heard it out of Larry's mouth. We've been right a lot of times, and if we're wrong, we'll own it. Man, we've been spot on with a lot of predictions. You and Logan especially. So, yeah, you heard it here first. I think we're going to see that Cody Pac for the TNT title. Who do you think the next feud is for the women's side? Do you think Britt steps up and is the number one contender?
I think now is the time for Britt to get to that title contender. Because before they were rushing her. But I like this version of her better.
Yeah, me too. Me too, most definitely.
She's a perfect opponent, I think, for Sheeta right now.
Yeah.
She's a good role model. And she's a dentist, if you didn't know.
Yeah, she's a dentist.
Man, it's getting late. I know you guys are an hour behind me, but it's like 1 a.m. now. That pay-per-view ran long, but unlike a lot of other experiences I've had with long pay-per-views, it
wasn't bored.
It just flowed and went on, and I'm like, oh shit, like, because it was like 10:20 or something, and we still had 2 matches left. I'm like, oh man, and I knew the Stadium Stampede match would go long. I don't have like Wikipedia up to give like match times, and we'll do all that dorky shit because who gives a shit? But I'm sure people, Kyle and Kevin, will talk about it on Kyle and Kevin's wrestling review later this week. So subscribe to their channel while you're at it and hear repetitive, boring shit like 99% of the other wrestling podcasts. Well, you know what, fellas? I'm going to sign off here. Going to probably go watch some Indiana Jones. I know we need some reprieve from all this wrestling excitement. But I'm buzzing, man. This was a show where the show ended, and I'm kind of buzzing. I'm going to watch a lot of matches back tomorrow. And I'm super excited with where the product is currently with AEW. Definitely leaving this pay-per-view excited for Wednesday to see what comes next. So any last thoughts on the pay-per-view or anything otherwise?
I have nothing.
No?
Just give me full on. I want Brian Cage to come out with the towel on the head. I want that.
Oh yeah.
What color though? What color towel's he gonna get?
That would be dope.
Oh, you gotta go black. You gotta go black.
Yeah. Or maybe you could go yellow for Swolverine. Like, who knows, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, Brian Cage is a part of AEW now, man. It's exciting stuff, exciting times. Can't wait for Wednesday, and can't wait to do another episode of Kayfabe Connection. Follow us on Instagram, Kayfabe Connection on Instagram. Post all kinds of past shows that we've been to, wrestlers we've met, stories that we have, funny stories from different road trips we've taken. That's kind of the gist of the Instagram postings. Follow us on Twitter at the letter K, FABE Connection. Unlike other people, I like to actually watch shows, and I know the thing in our group chat, we hit each other up quite frequently, but a lot of times it's like, okay, phone down certain matches, and so I don't necessarily do live-to-live tweets as far as you're going to get 100 tweets during a show, but I do stay active on there as far as connecting with fans and seeing what you guys like and don't like and asking you guys questions as well to keep the conversation going. Last but not least, hit the subscribe button down below. Hit the subscribe button. Hit the bell. Get notifications for things like this where you wake up or you're still up eating your Doritos Locos, playing your, Call of Duty or whatever, and you're like, oh shit, Kayfabe just dropped a special bonus episode. So hit that
like button too.
Yeah, the like button. Yeah, and let us know in the comments if you loved it, hated it, it was okay. Whatever it is, just let us know what you thought of the show. Hit us in the comment section as well. But that's it for another bonus episode of Kayfabe Connection. Thanks for watching.